A Guam senator says no money has been made from recreational cannabis despite it being legalized in 2019. Under current rules, cannabis needs to be tested in a certified laboratory for safety before it goes to the market. Senator Will Parkinson says cultivators don't want to grow cannabis because there are no labs available to test the products, and labs don't want to open because they cannot guarantee demand for testing. He told Caleb Fotheringham that he wants a temporary pause on testing requirements for recreational cannabis.
Right now, in our own burgeoning cannabis industry, we have a little bit of a standoff between the lab testing and the cultivators. Cultivators don't want to go first because they don't want to open up shop and make the investment without a lab in place. And by the same token, labs don't want to open up unless they have a clear count of how many cultivators are going to be opening up. And so we have this chicken and egg situation where neither one wants to go first, but it's necessary for one to go first. So if I had to choose, my thing would be let the cultivators go first and then have the labs come out after, because I would rather have a shortage of labs rather than have product rot on the vine.
Right, I suppose the problem with that is I imagine that the lab testing is largely for safety reasons. So does that bring up, I guess, obvious safety problems without having the lab testers test the cannabis products?
You know what, for me, I don't see a safety issue there because for years now, cannabis has been unregulated and untested. And up to now, there are still no cannabis-related fatalities. There is not a wave of cannabis overdoses flooding our hospital. I think history has shown that the naysayers were wrong and that the end of the world was not going to happen when we legalized cannabis. And currently now, 4 years, all the cannabis I've ever smoked, and I'm a regular smoker, has never been tested. Just from the experience and the body of evidence we saw, I would be comfortable moving forward without cannabis testing just because of, the prior history.
So what's happening at the moment? Are all the cannabis products imported right now?
Currently, there is no importation of cannabis products because cannabis is still federally illegal in the United States. So you cannot move them from state to state or state to territory or any sort of interstate commerce. However, this has the unintended consequence of being a protection shield for Guam's own local cultivation industry. Because as long as importation of cannabis is not federally legal, we don't have to worry about cheap cannabis from other states flooding our market and pushing our cultivators out. So I'm really trying to get this push through locally before any movement on federal legalization happens, because as soon as federal legalization happens, we can now import cheap cannabis from the surplus states, and I fear that may kill our burgeoning cultivation industry.
Recreational cannabis was legalized in Guam in 2019. So from then until now, where have people been getting their cannabis from?
If I had to guess, I imagine they're getting it from a gray market. We have a homegrown cultivation here, so I'm sure people are gifting and exchanging and just basically giving to their neighbors cannabis that they have. And I got to give credit to Senator Clint Bridgell. When he legalized cannabis, one of the things that makes Guam unique is, from a lot of jurisdiction, is he allowed homegrown cultivation in a very liberal manner.
So when Guam legalized its cannabis, was there a feeling that local growers could make some money by, I guess, selling it, and also was there a feeling that it could be taxed and could be good for the economy in that way too?
Yeah, and I mean that was also one of the reasons that we pushed towards legalization. Is I made the case to a lot of our government officials that this industry is going to be here, and if we do not regulate it, this is going to be a flowing of money and tax revenue that we are not capturing. And so rather than push this into the black market, we made the choice to embrace cannabis and put the structures down for an industry so that we can take advantage of that tax revenue and use it to improve the island.
Right, but from what I'm understanding from what you've told me, Guam hasn't actually seen those economic benefits yet because of the testing requirements. Is that right?
That's correct. That seems to be the last hurdle. And when I was on the Cannabis Control Board, I had originally proposed moratorium language many, many years ago, just in case this very scenario happened where we were lacking testing capacity. And at the time, I was a minority voice, and the resistance to it came in the form of, hey, if we build these rules, there's going to be plenty of time. The labs are going to come, and so this language is premature and unnecessary. However, several years have passed now, and what I was saying was going to be a problem has come to pass. And so that's why I've introduced this legislation now that I'm a senator, so that we can have this dialogue again now that so much time has passed. Maybe it is time to do the moratorium, and as a senator, this is how we have discussions: as we introduce the bills and then we discuss publicly about it.